Hello and welcome back. Uh, Thanks for visiting again, or if this is your first time, thanks for stopping in. This is day two of Hey, what are you doing today? My personal journey over the course of the next year to complete two goals: get in good physical shape and start my own business, small business. Put my feet out there and accomplish something. What an amazing world we live in, truly. It's day two, and this all kind of started from one bad day 2 days ago. After that, I kind of put in my head that I was gonna make an attempt, do something a little bit different, and one of the goals being to start my own business. As I stated in the first video, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no plan, no idea for any business. No business model, just nothing, absolutely nothing. No experience in business, some experience in sales, but as far as owning and operating, managing, no background whatsoever. But I have a desire. For me, that's 99% of it. Really wanting to do something. I've had different things in my life where, some things I kind of wanted to do, but I didn't really have a desire. It's a feeling that I feel inside my chest. I just want to take something over. I've only had that feeling a few times in my life, and I was always able to accomplish whatever that goal was. I spoke yesterday a little bit about marathon training, and it's kind of an interesting story. I think anybody that has run or trained for a marathon probably has an interesting story. I don't know how you can do that kind of a thing without some incredible story or motivation behind it on a personal level. But the other, well, what it really comes down to is having that desire. And then the reason I say what an amazing world, there's something in this world. I don't know what it is. I've heard people talk about it. I've read about it. I've kind of experienced it. But today it hit me. It was powerful. It's one of those things. I find that if I pay attention, the world really kind of speaks to me. And I think that's probably true of just about everybody. If you really open up and listen to what's going on, what you're hearing, it's almost, there's a reason for it. There's something going on. I'm not a very religious person. I'm also not a shunner of religion. I think that there's a lot of, even if I've met some people that dislike religion because of the whole, say God will smote you for this, or it's controlling of mankind, or blah blah blah, those kind of things. What it comes down to, there's a lot of knowledge there that has been passed down and misunderstood or misrepresented, or fully understood and fully represented, and it's something that you can't just write off, or at least, excuse me, again, I'm trying to speak of myself. I can't speak of anybody else, but I can't just write off some of the teachings, some of the things that you learn, some of the life lessons, and the fact that, not a fact, but the feeling that I have that something really is out there. Not saying a God or this or that, but there's some energy, there's some sense of, if you invest in something, you will get something back. You get what you ask for. I've heard some people say, one of my favorite ones was, ask the ether. What's the ether? I don't know what the ether is, but I've read or heard somewhere, if you ask the ether, if you put it out there, and if you have a strong enough desire, the ether's going to respond and give you everything you want, everything you need. Now, it might not be exactly what you asked for, but for some reason, in the end, you find it's everything you wanted. And the reason I bring this up is, 2 days ago, April 14th, the day before the start of this, I had nothing going on. I was an endless cycle of chasing my tail, as I said, treading water, staying afloat, my life being consumed by my job, no freedom, just underneath that giant thumb, I think I said in the last video. It's really, to me, it's really there. There's a huge giant thumb pushing down on me, and you know, I want out. I want out from under it. So I started yesterday, and yesterday really had no real direction. Just knew that I wanted those two goals. I wanted to, you know, concentrate on losing weight, and I wanted to concentrate on starting some kind of entrepreneurial endeavor. And you know, had no idea what kind of business. One of my little steps was to start something small and try to grow that initially until the big project came. And what was peculiar about that was, well, I thought, you know, maybe I could make a couple dollars off of just making some small videos, putting them online, and that was the initial thought. That's no longer the motivation with this. I'm doing this as kind of a documentary of what I'm going through, so that I can always have it. However, that was the initial thought. Just start a small YouTube channel, put some things out there, see if anybody starts watching, see if anybody starts listening, paying attention, see if I get any reactions, see if I get any feedback, see what that brings to me. Even if it's not in terms of monetary, there could possibly be a value to it. I might run into somebody that has a piece of advice or a piece of information that they would like to share. You know, something as simple as that. And I feel like that's going to happen, regardless. Even if only get one person subscribes to my channel, or over the course of making 365 videos, I get 200 views. You know, I might reach that one person that has some valuable trinket of knowledge to share. Or, you know, even on another note, maybe I don't get anything in return, but maybe it helps somebody else out, and there's some value in that. It's not a value directly to me, but at the same time, if I internalize it and realize, you know, I did something that made a difference, made an impact, no matter how subtle or how minor, it's an impact, and I can hold that to myself, I can talk that to myself, and in that is a value. But the interesting thing is, I put it out there, you know, in a day and a half, roughly, not even that probably, I've just put that desire out there into the ether, into the unknown, you know, what's tried to be described for probably as long as humans have been around, but yet remains a mystery. However, better understood by some people than others, you know, in some regards. But I put that energy out there, that desire that, you know, I'm ready for a change. I'm willing to invest the time, willing to invest the work, willing to actively seek that change. And it was the peculiar thing. Well, let me start with this. Yesterday I heard, I have a little bit of I wouldn't say an issue, but you know, sometimes I put people off. Someone will come and they'll talk to me, and I'll be kind of in my own zone, or in my own mood, or just kind of write them off before they even start to speak to me. Not an impolite thing, not in my intention anyway. It may be an impolite aspect of my life, but it's not my intention to be impolite. But it's just something about me. If I'm in the middle of something, if I'm concentrating on something, if someone comes to me and asks me a question or tries to start a conversation, and I'm not in the mood for that conversation, I shut down pretty quickly, and the person generally walks away or leaves, and, you know, whatever happens is gone, and, you know, it's something that never occurred at that point. And yesterday I heard, you know, someone say, always give somebody, I can't remember the exact way he said it, but basically, always give somebody the time, no matter what. You know, if someone comes to you, stop, listen to what they have to say. And this is not me telling you this, but this is kind of what the voice, or I don't even remember what I was listening to or what I was reading when I heard this, but basically it said, you know, give them the time of day. And this morning, the most amazing thing happened. I was sitting at my desk, you know, not really working. I'm almost beyond this job I'm in. 2 days into it, I'm already kind of like, you know, I need it for the income, for the financial stability, but my mind is not in it whatsoever. But however, I'm sitting at my desk, and I'm kind of doing that rote, just working that zombie feel that work sometimes generates. I'm not even real sure what I was doing. I was typing an email to somebody, And a young gentleman sits down, a young guy in his 20s sits across me, a friend of mine, a guy that I've worked with for a while, and I've known for a little while here. And he sits down and he says to me, "Dave, today's the day." Yeah, but, I'm, as I said, I'm kind of in zombie mode working, and I don't really want to talk to anybody. And again, I just heard this yesterday about always give somebody the time. And he sits down, and the first thing's out of his mouth. The first thing out of his mouth is, "Dave, today's the day." It didn't even hit me. I didn't even open my eyes. I didn't, I'm just still in that zone, kind of nothing. But he didn't stop. He just continued to talk. He says, "Dave, I got an idea." I didn't encourage him. I never really talked to him about business, about my desire of starting a business, about being an entrepreneur, about wanting to try to get something off the ground. Out of nowhere this came. I've never heard him talk like this either. And, he says, "Dave, I want to do something." And he just continues to tell me what he wants to do. And when he tells me it, at first I think, well, that's never going to work. It's just dumb. It's not dumb, it's thinking, but it's not what I want to be doing. It's not something that I want to invest my time or my money into. And then I stopped, and I remember something else that I heard or read yesterday, whatever the case might be, but it was that, I think in this case it was a quote, and, the quote's probably inaccurate, but it was something like, 100% of all entrepreneurs were laughed at. I don't know where you could ever get that kind of statistic from, but there's probably some evidence and probably some truth to a very large portion of people that start new businesses or new ideas. At some point, somebody looks at them and says, "Hey, you're crazy," tries to stop it from even starting for whatever reason. Perhaps they're being protective or whatever the case is, or maybe it just sounds ludicrous. But as he's talking, I'm thinking in my mind, well, this isn't what I want to do. This isn't going to work. All of a sudden, it hits me that that voice. Where does that voice come from? I don't know if any of you out there experience that voice. It's not a voice. It's not a clear voice. It's almost like a metaphysical something, and some metaphysical communication, whether it be deep inside your conscious or whether it be external coming from somewhere. I mean, there's no way right now for me or anybody to know as far as I know, but it's the same thing I was speaking about yesterday, that feeling I get, that itch in the back of the head, that I don't know how to put it, but that burning, that I guess a good way to kind of put an image to it, maybe like the pilot light in a furnace. It's always there burning. And when the time is right, that fire explodes and creates something. But while that fire is burning, it's there. The furnace may be aware of it, but it's until that spark hits and it ignites, it's really just there burning. And that's kind of the same thing that I feel. And again, and then just to kind of reiterate, not to get too metaphysical. Some people try to stay away from that, or some people just love it and eat it up. To each his own, not a judgmental thing, but I just want to try to keep what I'm speaking about is on a certain level, a certain plane. But I want to acknowledge it. I want to acknowledge that there's something there, and how peculiar this world is, that yesterday I just began putting out in the ether, and this morning immediately this thing happened. And again, kind of get back to the story, where I was in my brain, this is an idiot idea. It's never going to work. I'm not going to invest my time in it. And then all of a sudden I hear that voice of, or that quote I heard yesterday, 100% of entrepreneurs were laughed at. And I stopped and I listened to him. And it was like, wow, this is it. This is the small business that I want to work on, a small project that I want to get off the ground. Not the end-all be-all project, but just something to start, something to learn, something to do. And again, if I fail, I want to look at that as an accomplishment. At least for once I attempted something. At least for once I got to go through and experience to the point of failure and then learn from that and take from that, versus failing before I even start, failing to make an attempt because I'm worried about failing. This is the endeavor that I want to concentrate on, that I want to move forward with. And here it is, day 2. Just, for lack of a better term, wham bam, thank you ma'am, here it is. Take it, run with it, do what you want. Now I have a project I'm going to actually focus on. I'll get into a little bit later what that project is, and perhaps start speaking about how we're developing, what's going on, or I may keep that under wraps. It's one of those things. It's not mine. It's mine to create. It's mine to work on, but it's not mine to share in this medium if need be. And maybe that's better. But I just want to share that with you today. What an amazing world. It's good to see that power and effect, whatever it is. I think, a lot of different people have spoken about it, but just putting out that desire, and watching the return from that. So, anyway, it's day 2. Had an incredible first day, an incredible second day already, and it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I've got the whole second day ahead of me before this, but I was excited about the change yesterday. Now I'm super excited about having something physical to work on, having an actual goal for the initial small business, and wow, just fantastic. Thanks again for stopping in. Thanks again for taking the time to look over my video. If I ever get to the point where somebody's actually following me, thank you for that in advance. But we'll see how it goes. Once again, hey, what are you doing today? Thanks.